Look at these two boys. This one lives by the lake. He knows how to fish. His hands smell like fish, and he loves it. And this other boy lives in a big city. He studies all day long. He knows the entire Bible by heart, and he loves it too. Two completely different boys, two worlds that have nothing in common. So how is it possible that these two became the greatest superheroes the church has ever had? This is their story. The boy from the lake was named Simon. He lived in a small fishing village on the shores of the Sea of Galilee. From the time he was small, he learned to fish with his dad. His hands were strong, his heart was enormous, and his mouth spoke before his brain could catch up. One day, when he was a young man, he was in his boat mending his nets, just like any other day, until a man stopped on the shore and said something that changed his life forever. "Follow me, and I will make you a fisher of men." Simon left his boat, left his nets, left everything, and followed Jesus. Jesus gave him a new name. "You are Peter," which means rock. And on that rock, Jesus would build his church. While Peter was following Jesus by the lake, the other boy was growing up far away, and his story was going to be completely different. The other boy was named Saul. He was born in a city called Tarsus. From the time he was small, he was the brightest in his class. He knew the entire Bible by heart. He studied with the greatest teacher in all of Israel. Saul grew up and became a very important man. He knew God's laws better than anyone. But he made one big mistake. He thought the followers of Jesus were dangerous, so he decided to stop them. He hunted them down. He arrested them. He was the church's #1 enemy. One day, he was riding toward Damascus to arrest more Christians. And then, a light brighter than the sun knocked him off his horse. He fell to the ground. He couldn't see anything, and he heard a voice saying, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" It was Jesus, the very one he was persecuting. Saul stayed blind for 3 days. No food, no water, just thinking about what had happened. When he got his sight back, he was not the same man. The #1 enemy of Christians had become their greatest defender. From that day on, he was called Paul, the fisherman and the scholar, the one who knew Jesus in person and the one who met him from the sky. They were about to become the best of friends. Peter and Paul were completely different. Peter, a fisherman, simple, impulsive, from Galilee. Paul, a scholar, intellectual, Roman citizen, from Tarsus. One knew Jesus in person, the other met him from the sky. One had calluses from fishing, the other had ink stains from writing. So what did they have in common? Everything that mattered. Both loved Jesus with everything they had. Both wanted the whole world to know him. Both were willing to give their lives for him. Did they ever argue? Oh, yes. One time, Paul told Peter he was making a mistake in front of everyone. Can you imagine? But that didn't break them apart. Real friends tell each other the truth. And in the end, Peter called Paul our beloved brother. What gave Peter and Paul their strength is something you can have too. Do you know what was the secret of Peter and Paul? Where did they find the strength for everything? The Eucharist. Peter was at the Last Supper. He received from the hands of Jesus himself the bread and wine that became his body and blood. He saw it with his own eyes. He touched it with his own hands. And Paul, even though he wasn't there, received the same message from Jesus and wrote it down forever. Every time you eat this bread and drink this cup, you proclaim the death of the Lord. For Peter and Paul, the Eucharist was not a symbol. It was Jesus, alive, real, present. The same Jesus who called Peter from the shore of the lake. The same Jesus who knocked Paul off his horse. That same Jesus is in the Eucharist today. Peter and Paul both ended their lives in Rome. The same emperor, Nero, wanted to destroy them both. Peter was crucified, but he asked for something very special, to be crucified upside down, because he didn't feel worthy to die the same way Jesus did. Paul was beheaded. And here's something incredible. Tradition tells us they died on the very same day, June 29th, together until the very end. And for many years their bodies were buried together. Even after death, they couldn't be separated. One was made an apostle as a fisherman, the other as a persecutor. In both, the grace of God was great. Saint Augustine. Peter and Paul leave us 3 gifts. 1. Jesus can change anyone. A fisherman with no education? Jesus made him the rock of his church. The worst enemy of Christians? Jesus made him their greatest missionary. If he changed Peter and Paul, he can change anyone, even you. 2. Real friends tell each other the truth. Peter and Paul argued, and that made them stronger. A true friendship isn't perfect, it's honest. 3. The Eucharist is where they are still together today. Every time you go to Mass, Peter and Paul are there with you, because the same Jesus they loved is alive in the Eucharist. Do you remember these 2 boys? The one who lived by the lake and the one who studied all day? Neither of them knew what Jesus had in store for them. The fisherman became the rock of his church. The scholar became its greatest missionary. And the same Jesus who called them is calling you too, alive, real, in the Eucharist. A fisherman and a scholar, 2 completely different boys, one Jesus who changed them both.